Everybody, welcome to the Board of Trustees meeting here on February 6th, 2018. Here to do the invocation tonight is Pastor Tim Cade from Epic Church at 47488 on DeQuinder right here in Shelby Township. Pastor, welcome, and thank you.
Bow your head with me. Our Lord and our Savior Jesus Christ, we come before you this evening and we just thank you for this wonderful day that we have to gather together and to just talk about this community and look at solutions to challenges that are coming, to look at ways that we can improve this community, to benefit every single person that is here, man, woman, and child in our community. And Lord, we just pray over the entire agenda this evening. Lord, when there are challenges ahead, if there's a disagreement, Lord, keep us humble, keep us respectful of one another. And keep us always looking at the joy that we have to be able to serve not only you, God, but this community and the people here. We thank you for this evening. In your name, amen.
Amen.
And let's say together the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor Tim Cade of Epic Lutheran Church, thank you very much for coming tonight. We do appreciate it. Actually, we have two big items. The first one I want to talk about is premiering this Thursday, February 8th at 5 p.m. We're going to have a new production from ShelbyTV titled On Location in Shelby Township. This show focuses on presenting news, business, and life in Shelby Township, and that's where it's happening, on location. The first episode was filmed at Esplanado Mexican Restaurant at 50285 Mound Road, across the street from the new Amazon Distribution Center. And this location was selected because the premiere episode focuses on the Amazon development and all the aspects that led to the arrival in the township and the future impact that it may have on some of the neighbors, like the owner of that restaurant, Carl Shepman. And I want to thank Carl and his wife Gina for welcoming us into their restaurant to film the debut episode. And I would also like to thank Macomb County Executive Mark Hackle for serving as co-host on the production. And thanks also go out to trustees Doug Wozniak, John Vermeulen, and clerk Stan Grove for helping out, along with building director Tim Wood and planning director Glenn Wynn. And also part of this program was featured Utica, Coney Island. They'll be in this half-hour special as well. So again, I want you to tune in on our Channel 5 at 5 p.m. February 8th for the premiere. And these will be shown before and after every taping of our board meetings. So on Tuesday and Thursday, you'll be able to catch this show before and after the 7 o'clock board meeting. And then on Saturday and Sunday, as you know, we tape the board meetings at 9 o'clock. And so it'll be on before and after on Saturday and Sunday as well. Now, I understand that we have a teaser piece. I have not seen any of this yet. So if you want to show that 4-minute clip, I guess now would be the time.
It's late morning on a Wednesday. Lyda Marcoux, along with her daughter Rizarda and cousin Victor, are busy with work. They're getting ready for the lunch crowd that's starting to show up. For over 20 years, Utica Coney Island has anchored this building off a Mound Road in an area that has gone through many changes. The restaurant was started by Lyda's husband, Prend, in 1996. And the Ford trim plan and its large, well-paid workforce soon found it was in walking distance of a traditional Detroit-style Coney dog. Times were good. A little later, the plant changed names, but the Coneys kept selling. Sadly, in 2003, Prend Marcoux passed away, but through the help of friends and family, Lyda carried on. But then bad news hit the area, and the plant eventually closed for good, leaving Shelby Township with an empty piece of property and a group of area businesses looking for customers.
Well, restaurant business is a tough business to begin with. This restaurant was booming here when Ford was here, when Vistian was here. So what happened? The business is shut down and moved on, and no customers because there's no one around here.
After Vistian left, this whole section of commercial businesses ended up crashing, basically, because they lost a significant volume of their business.
Since they closed, I have neighbors, they support me. You know, the neighborhood, they were so great, the community was so great to us, and they keep us going till now, so, and I am very thankful.
If they could manage, local business fought through the plant's closing as well as a recession, but the site sat empty still. Eventually, rumors of big change for the old auto plant site started to spread across the area. But most just treated the rumors as they were, rumors.
There were rumors back and forth, it's coming this and that. I was excited every time I heard those stories. But the big hit was when they really, really decided to do something.
Amazon announced it's building a fulfillment center, and it will be right here in our township. The online retailer will be building a 1 million square foot building at the former Visteon Corporation auto parts plant.
When I heard Amazon is coming, I was really excited. I thought it's you know, worth. I stayed here and I worked here and I keep going as much as I could with help of everybody. So, but yeah, I'm really excited, and I hope the daylight is coming. So.
This is a godsend for this area, 23 and Mount. This business will come back alive in a hurry. People will be coming here for lunch. People will be coming here on their way home. It will bring life back to this corner.
What's good news for Shelby Township business, in turn, means good things for Shelby Township and its residents.
Oh, there's no question. With 1,000 new jobs and many good jobs out of that, people can buy housing in our community, help bolster it. There's a tremendous economic multiplier out of this where the community gains.
Lyda's determination in keeping her business open at Mound Road and 23 Mile Road through the tough times is a testament to her admiration and love of her family business.
It's great community, great people. People, they care for each other. People, they want to help you. They are friendly. And I would never change Shelby Township for no city on the Michigan. That's me, so this is my life here.
So if you haven't stopped by Utica, Coney Island, it might be a good time, as there's a good chance things are going to get pretty busy.
Okay, very good. And want to say thank you to our new department, and they're doing a good job. So again, that'll be on 5 o'clock on Thursday evening. Okay, and then finally, I understand we've got some news on Splash Park, Mr. Flynn.
Yeah, we're cooking along. I took a ride over to the building at Gene Shepherd Park with Parks and Rec Director Joe Youngblood today, and I'm happy to report that they're starting to rehab the interior of the building, which will have a concession stand that is already taking shape, and a little clubhouse area for people to get out of the heat if they need to be inside for a few minutes. We're going to be out there on Friday with ShelbyTV, so watch Channel 5 next week for a little update. Will be kind of a before look at the vision of that splash pad, which we expect to have open this summer, but kind of like those HGTV shows, this will be a nice before. So you I don't know if we're going to have any computer graphics, but kind of put your thinking caps on. You'll be able to see what we're talking about, but I'm happy to report that we have progress.
Okay,
Thank
great.
You,
Awesome.
Great, thank you very much. And also, happy to announce we've got a committee now, an official committee. Ms. Wilhelm, you've got some people. Go ahead.
Our advisory board, which I'll be chairing. We also have Trustee Doug Wozniak on the committee, Dave Miller, Katie Esther, Joe Youngblood, Carol Thurber, and Brad Bates. And we're getting ready to start discussions for the Senior Center and Library next week.
Okay,
so,
great.
We'll keep you posted.
And Mr. Vermeulen and Mr. Wozniak, I guess you've got your first meeting coming up for the police station, the expansion of the new police station.
We're going to be talking about that next week also, yes.
Okay, good. Good job. A lot happening, and I guess this will be the year of infrastructure, without a doubt, right here on the Shelby Township campus. Okay, good job, everybody, and I will get right into it. If you want to take attendance, please.
Sure.
Mr. Clerk.
Treasurer Michael Flynn.
Here.
Clerk Stanley Grote. Supervisor Rick Steffikis.
Here.
Trustee John Vermeulen.
Here.
Trustee Vince Viviano.
Here.
Trustee Lynn Wilhelm.
Here.
And Trustee Doug Wozniak.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr.
Thank you very much, and I don't want to leave out Mr. Vince Viviano. You've been working overtime on keeping those roads cleaned off, and a very good job, I might add, so thank you very much.
Yeah, the guys are doing a good job between the thaw and the patch, the cold patch, and then back to the salt and the snow, and they're working around the clock.
Didn't even get to go to your Super Bowl party, but you did a good job. Okay, good. Yeah, Sunday night was pretty hectic, I know.
Crazy.
Okay.
Again tonight.
Yeah. Okay, thanks a lot, but don't, yep, thank you. Okay, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda that has been presented?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Grote.
Move to approve consent agenda as follows. Minutes work session, January 15, 2018. Board meeting, January 16, 2018. Move to approve the minutes as presented. B, energy reduction service proposal. Move to approve the recommendation of Parks and Recreations and Maintenance Director Joe Youngblood and authorize Energy Reduction Coalition to move forward with their energy reduction services for the township facilities as specified in their proposal. C, election worker wage scale. Move to approve the revised election worker wage scale for the Charter Township of Shelby as presented. And D, bill run in the amount of $795,289.63. Move to approve bill run in that amount. Mr. Chairman, move to approve consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Grote, seconded by Mr. Wozniak. Roll call, please.
Stanley Grote, yes. Doug Wozniak?
Yes.
Michael Flynn?
Yes.
Rick Steffikis?
Yes.
John Vermeulen?
Yes.
Vince Viviano?
Yes.
And Lynn Wilhelm?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great, thank you. Could you please put up the agenda? I think we've got some 15 or 16 items here tonight. The first one is a 2018 CDBG allocation that we've been talking about for the last couple of meetings. Number 2, the introduction of the zoning ordinance amendment that Mr. Wynn will talk about tonight. Special Assessment District, or SAD, SL-52, 2017, adoption of resolution number 2. Number 4, the SAD, SL-53-2017, adoption of resolution number 2. Number 5, the SAD, SL-54-2017, adoption of resolution number 4. Number 6, the replacement hire in the Department of Public Works. Number 7, purchase replacement of radio in the fire department. Number 8, purchase of a John Deere side-by-side. Number 9, ambulance repair. Number 10, and that's in the fire department. Number 10 is 2018 new vehicle purchase. Number 11, and that's in the police department. And in fact, the next 3 are from the police department: equipment purchase, purchase of ammunition, and equipment purchase again. And Police Chief Schlide will talk about that. Number 14, Library Advisory Committee. And 15, Solid Waste and Recycling Committee appointment. And finally, number 16, Library Advisory Commission reappointment. So that is the agenda.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Grote.
Move to approve the agenda, regular agenda as presented. And then adding closed session, Cherry Creek lot enhancements.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Grote, seconded by Mr. Flynn. Any questions by the board? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, residents, if you this would be your opportunity right now to address the board regarding any of the items on the agenda this evening. Your comments pursuant to board policy are limited to 3 minutes. Please keep in mind that while the scope of your discussion at this point of the meeting should be limited to agenda items only, you will have an opportunity at the end of the meeting to discuss a wider range of topics that relate to township business. Any comments, questions? Yes.
Thomas Turner, Shelby Township.
When was the last time the police department purchased ammunition, and how much was spent then? The Library Advisory Committee, what is that on the agenda for? What are you doing there that you have to bring it before the board? And number 8, the John Deere side-by-side. What is a side-by-side, and what will it be used for?
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Leo Levy from Shelby Township. Anything to do with the fire department? They need the equipment. They need stuff repaired. We got to give it to them because that's our protection. And as far as the police department, I think if they need ammunition, we should get it without a question. If they need it, they wouldn't order it if they didn't need it. But these are about all on the agenda I want to talk about. One thing I want to tell everybody. Mr. Cook is in Beaumont. He's in very serious condition. He needs a lot of prayers. I went over to see him today, and I don't think the guy's going to make it, so he needs a lot of prayers.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Mr. Churchill.
Where did he say he's at?
Yeah, he's definitely in our prayers.
Ron Churchill, Mound Road. First, Mr. Supervisor, I'm going to hit on the police equipment, the 3D scanner and measuring device. I'd like to know more about the scanner. Is this going to be able to be used in accidents and measuring things and picturing things in 3D? And is it going to be able to, like, measure, I know a lot of times they have to measure the skid marks and figure out how fast the vehicles were going. Is this going to be able to calculate how fast vehicles were going in an accident by measuring their skid marks and such? And also I'm going to hit on the ammunition. That scanner. Does the police department have another one, or is this the first one that they're purchasing of this kind? Is this a piece of new technology out there, or is it just a piece of new equipment for the police department? And does the police department have other ones like it? And the ammunition, I want to know what calibers are they purchasing for their sidearms, shotgun shells and rifle shells? One of those or all three, and how many of each, or what calibers? Is what I want to know. What calibers of each one? And as far as that John Deere side by side, it seems to me that about a year ago or so, they just purchased a John Deere. I don't know if it was a side-by-side or whatever, but I want to know if this is a replacement piece of equipment, what's wrong with the old one? And I guess that's just about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay, we'll go ahead and start the meeting. And Mr. Glenn Wynn, our planner of Shelby Township, if you want to come up and start with the 2018 CDBG allocation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and board members. We're requesting the board's approval tonight for the allocation of our community development block grant funds for fiscal year 2018, which begins in July. The total allocation is just shy of $175,000. From that total, the county takes off $7,000 for the CHORE program, which leaves us $167,950 for other projects. There's two categories of projects: public service and physical improvements. We are limited as to how much we can spend on public service. That cap is $36,000. You may recall at the last meeting we had a number of agencies here requesting funding, and we've tried to divide the money up in a fair way, similar to how we've done in the past. And the general allocation for each of these agencies is about $3,000, with a couple of exceptions. There's one physical improvement for 2018. It's a sidewalk on Wakefield and Melton. As you know, we're limited to where we can spend the money. It has to be reserved for block grant eligible neighborhoods. The applications, if they're approved tonight, will be submitted to the county. They're due by the 16th. They're already done in anticipation of approval, just waiting for Mr. Stathica's signature. The other thing I'd point out is every 3 years the county requires us to go out for bid for engineering services only for block grant projects. We could always use our own engineer, which is obviously preferable if we could, but if we don't go out for bid, we can't use the block grant money to pay engineering fees, which we do. So after this week, we have an RFQ prepared. We'll go out for bid again because we want to be able to, recover some of those engineering costs for these projects. So that'll be happening later this week. So I'm here to answer any questions. You'll see that the allocation is pretty similar to what we've done in the past.
Okay, unless there are any questions, would someone like to make a motion?
Mr. Supervisor?
Ms. Wilhelm.
I move to allocate fiscal year 2018 Community Development Block Grant funds for the following projects: Wakefield Melton Street Sidewalk, $131,950. Shelby Township Senior Center, $4,000. Shelby Township Library, $2,000. McRest, $3,000. Turning Point, $3,000. Care House, $3,000. Samaritan House, $3,000. Shelby Lions Club, $5,000. Homeless Coalition, $1,000. Macomb Literacy Partners, $3,000. Macomb Warming Center, $1,000. Interfaith Volunteer Caregivers, $2,000. Helping Hands, $3,000. And Trinity Community Care, $3,000.
Support.
Motion made by Ms. Wilhelm, seconded by Mr. Viviano. Any discussion? Questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion passes. And good job on this. I know you spent a long time on this and got a lot of input from a lot of organizations.
It's a good
Thank
process.
You.
Good grant funds.
Great.
The second one is the clear zoning adoption. You may recall last year we hired the planning firm Giffords Webster Consultants to prepare an update to our zoning ordinance. It's known as clear zoning. It's a product that transforms a traditional bound 300-page document into a more user-friendly and interactive product that's would be online and available to everybody. We shared a demonstration with the board last year, and then you authorized us to purchase that product through Giffords Webster. When we were going through the normal adoption process, even though there's only 2 changes to the ordinance, we did discover, and we've known this for years, we had 2 obsolete zoning districts: IR, industrial research, and transitional. They're carries overs to maybe 30 years ago, and they're not. The IR district is not even on the map, and the transitional district has really been replaced by some setback requirements. So they're now no longer needed and somewhat redundant. So other than that, it's really you're approving a new format for the ordinance. You're not approving a new ordinance. Right. But we nevertheless felt we needed to go through this process so we have a public record of when it occurred. It's really, in my view, the procedural issue is more housekeeping than substantive. We did hold an advertised public hearing with the Planning Commission in January. And tonight will be the introduction of the ordinance, and if after the introduction, then we'd bring it back next meeting for final approval and then publication. And then at the end of the month, we'll be able to actually put this online and launch it. It's really an exciting product. We're the first community in Macomb County to be using this, so I'm really pleased by that.
Yeah, and I just want to stress what you wrote in your memo, that the ordinances are very complicated, cumbersome, and technical in nature. So the ordinances don't change, but the formats can be a lot better, a lot easier, and accessible for anyone who wants to look at it. So this is really something that very, very happy about. Who would like to make a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Mr. Viviano.
To introduce and publish an amendment to zoning ordinance number 212.110, approving the conversion of the township zoning ordinance and map to the clear zoning format.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Viviano, seconded by Mr. Vermeulen. Any discussion? All those in favor, please. Roll call, please.
Vince Viviano.
Yes.
John Vermeulen.
Yes.
Michael Flynn.
Yes.
Stanley Grout, yes. Rick Steffikis.
Yes.
Lynn Wilhelm.
Yes.
And Doug Wozniak.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I was just telling Mr. Huth, these letters are 6 inches big. They need to make them bigger, so I remember it's a roll call.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You get it.
I know. Okay, so thank you very much, and good work, Mr. Glenn Wynn. We do appreciate that very much. The third one is the Special Assessment District, adoption of Resolution Number 2, and Mr. Dave Miller presented a proposed Special Assessment District for street lighting in the Briarwood Knolls condominium project at our last meeting. Tonight, we're asked to consider a resolution for the public hearing on necessity.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Flynn.
I move to concur with the recommendation of David Miller, Director of Public Works, and adopt Resolution 2 of the Special Assessment Process for SAD SL 52-2017, street lighting within the Briarwood Knolls condominium development, and set the public hearing for necessity at 7 p.m. March 6, 2018.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Flynn, seconded by Mr. Wozniak. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Michael Flynn.
Yes.
Doug Wozniak.
Yes.
Stanley Grout, yes. Rick Steffikis.
Yes.
John Vermeulen.
Yes.
Vince Viviano.
Yes.
And Lynn Wilhelm.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And now we're asked to consider Resolution Number 2 in the Special Assessment District process for the preserves of Briarwood condominium development. Again, this is for street lighting in this project. Motion?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Ms. Wilhelm.
I move to concur with the recommendation of David Miller, Director of Public Works, and adopt Resolution Number 2 of the Special Assessment Process for SAD SL 53217, street lighting within the preserves of Briarwood condominium development, and set the public hearing for necessity at 7 p.m. on March 6, 2018.
Support.
Made by Ms. Wilhelm, seconded by Mr. Wozniak. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signal.
Wilhelm.
Yep, roll call.
Aye. Yes.
Lynn Wilhelm. Doug Wozniak.
Yes.
Michael Flynn.
Yes.
Stanley Grout, yes. Rick Steffikis.
Yes.
John Vermeulen.
Yes.
Vince Viviano.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, now if I forget, the next one's a roll
One
call,
more.
too. One more resolution regarding a special assessment district. Okay, here for Black Hills Estates condominiums, we are asked to consider Resolution Number 4 and set a public hearing for 7 p.m. on March 6, 2018, to discuss costs. Motion, please.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Vermeulen.
I move to concur with the recommendation of Dave Miller, Director of Public Works, and adopt Resolution 4 of the Special Assessment Process for SAD SL 542017, street lighting within the Black Hills Estates condominiums, and set public hearing for 7 p.m. on March 6, 2018, to discuss costs.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Vermeulen, seconded by Mr. Wozniak. Roll call, please.
John Vermeulen.
Yes.
Doug Wozniak.
Yes.
Michael Flynn.
Yes.
Stanley Grout, yes. Rick Steffikis.
Yes.
Vince Viviano.
Yes.
And Lynn Wilhelm.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. With this next item, our Human Resources Director is asking us to consider a replacement hire in the Department of Public Works. If approved tonight, Mr. Jonathan Redetka will be hired to the position of meter reader. He has been working in the department as a temporary employee since last July, and his recommendation is made in full compliance with the General Employee Civil Service rules and regulations.
Mr. Chair?
Ms. Wilhelm.
I move to approve the hire of Jonathan Rathka to the position of meter reader, working in the Township's Department of Public Works effective February 12, 2018, starting at pay grade 11, step 1A, and in accordance with the current municipal employees collective bargaining agreement.
Support.
Motion made by Ms. Wilhelm, seconded by Mr. Viviano. Any questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The next one, our Fire Chief, Jim Swinkowski, has asked us to consider the purchase of one, I'll let you actually come up and talk about it, a radio of some kind. I'm going to let you explain all that. This is to replace an old one in station number 4. Okay.
Good evening, board members, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, this is our base radio that's inside each of our stations, and you know, this is the bigger radio that we have. A couple years ago, that one had broke, and we had Macomb County Radio Department use a mobile radio temporarily to keep the alerting system and stuff going. And obviously, we were waiting for the price brace, because these radios at one point were over $6,000 and higher. So and we waited for the right time with Motorola and the pricing packages to get to a reasonable spot. And obviously moving forward with the replacement of Station 4, we will, work that right into the new station. And if we get the radio and a program from the state ahead of time, it'll be installed at the old station and then moved over to the new station.
Okay. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Flynn.
I'd move to concur with the recommendation of Fire Chief Swinkowski and approve the purchase of one Motorola APX 7500 Consulate radio from Motorola Solutions for $3,913.50, plus any applicable shipping costs and programming costs, which will be added to the final invoice. Funds are available for this budgeted item in line item 427-340-985-000 Capital Improvement Fund.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Flynn, seconded by Mr. Grote.
One question.
Go ahead.
How are the radios in the rest of the stations? They're okay? Or?
Oh, yeah, they're fine. And like I said, as we get to that point, we will be replacing them with these, but we have no issues at the other stations.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And you can stay right where you are. We've got another item. Item number 9, you're requesting approval to repair a second ambulance?
Yeah, that's correct. If you remember.
What about the John Deere side by side?
Mr. John Deere.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Side by side.
John
Yes,
Deere.
they are. And that would be the purchase of the John Deere side-by-side. You got it. Could you explain what a side-by-side is?
Yes, I did. First, I want to thank Steve from IT. With the new system, I had a JPEG I was going to have them put up on there so people can understand what we're buying, but once the meeting starts, they can't add it in there. So I quick text down to IT, and they're able to bring up a picture. So I know there was a question in the audience about it. It is basically your ATV, your off-road vehicles that you see for 2 people riding around and things like that. We do get a lot of injuries and accidents in the park. Hikers, bikers, and people on the river, and they usually don't happen near the roadway. So we've been, more activity. We ended up walking and carrying stuff, and it's getting a little difficult because there's a lot more activities in the parks. So this is something that we've been looking at for since last year. We added into the budget sessions and stuff because we are planning appropriately. But in the back end of it, there is a almost like a skid load that gets bolted in, has a room for one of our firefighters to strap in and sit, as well as a place that we can put a backboard, a Stokes basket, and additional equipment that we have to carry in there, and they get the patient and the equipment out safely up and down the hills and what we have to do. And it is able to travel on the road, just like the police department has one similar. It'll go close to 40 miles an hour, so we can get it up to the Orchard Trail and get to these places where we can't get our pickups and our personnel to.
Another question from the audience. Did we already have one of these before?
No, we have never had anything like this.
Okay.
Our smallest vehicle was a pickup truck, and we need something a little more robust to get off-road and smaller to get through all the brush and everything.
Okay, very good. And the cost again is $15,116.
Yes, and that includes the part we put in the back is called the MedLite Deluxe Patient Transport, and it includes the mounting of that and some additional things that, like a roof and things we had to add into it.
Okay, who would like to make the motion?
Mr. Chair.
Was the price 19 or 15?
Right, I have 19.
Yeah.
I have 19
Oh,
too.
is it 19? 19,000.
15, so it's 19.
No, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
19,
Yeah, because I think it's 15
Yeah.
for the side-by-side and like 4,100 for the skid load in the back, yeah.
Okay. Any
I'd
other
like to make a
questions?
motion.
Go ahead, Mr. Viviano.
Concur with the recommendation of Fire Chief Jim Swinkowski and approve the purchase of one John Deere XUV 825E and one Medialite EMS rescue bed insert from Weingart Supply Company located in Utica, Michigan, for a total price not to exceed $19,616.41. Funds are available in the budgeted item in line item 427-340-985-000 Capital Improvement Plan.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Viviano, seconded by Ms. Wilhelm. Any questions? More questions? Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Now we can talk about the request for approval to repair a second ambulance.
That is correct. If you remember back at the September meeting when we had the one ambulance with the blown engine and stuff, we knew we had basically a twin truck to it that was having the same problems. We got it in and got it diagnosed, and it is obviously, as we feared, it does require to be replacement. This one is a few $1,000s more because on this one we have to replace the turbo and some other ancillary things that on the last ambulance we had already replaced as they were identifying the problem. And so that was obviously covered under warranty when they put all that on, those few items. This one, all of that will have to be replaced, and we are hoping that it will come in under the estimated quote like the last one did. It came in a little bit under, but the dealer that we're working with has been, for the last year of going through this, has been wonderful and has really helped us out a lot and saved us a lot of money on repair bills. They've waived a lot going through this problem. So.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Questions? Motion?
I'd move to concur with the recommendation of Chief Swinkowski and approve the engine replacement of a 2012 ambulance from C&S Motors in Flint, Michigan. The estimated cost is $30,722.23. Price may fluctuate slightly, and the fire chief may approve any additional cost within reason at his discretion. Funds are available in line item 206-340-860-200 auto repair and maintenance.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Flynn, seconded by Ms. Wilhelm. Okay, all those in favor? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
If the motion maker could please amend the motion and add at the end and to amend the budget accordingly. Talking to Alan McDonald, he would prefer if that was in there at the end.
Okay.
So amended.
Ms. Wilhelm?
No, that was Mike. He said
And
so.
and you second?
Oh, I'm second. Sorry.
You concur?
Okay, good.
I concur. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Second concurs.
Got that too. Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay.
And I think that's about it for tonight.
Okay, and if anybody wants to see what that side-by-side was, just let me know and I'll show it to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, here, our police chief has asked us to consider his recommendation for new vehicles. If approved, the department will purchase a Ford Expedition, 8 Ford Interceptor vehicles, and 1 Ford F-150 truck. The total cost of the vehicles, along with equipment, is approximately $380,000. The purchase will be used out of the approved 2018 budgeted funds, and additionally, the vehicles will fall under the Macomb County bid pricing format. Motion, please.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Wozniak.
I move to concur with the recommendation of Police Chief Robert Schlide and approve the purchase of 1 Ford F-150 from Signature Ford for $37,176, 1 Ford Expedition from Signature Ford not to exceed $33,969 after trade-in, 8 Ford Interceptor Utilities from Signature Ford for $29,985 each, and related equipment from Synergy not to exceed $68,000. Total purchase for these vehicles and related equipment will not exceed $379,025 and will be paid for using budgeted funds from line item 207-305-981-000.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Wozniak, seconded by Mr. Flynn. Any questions?
One quick, Chief, are we trading in the rest of the vehicles?
I'm sorry, sir?
Are we trading in all the old stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, all.
We always sell everything we can, just so you know.
All right, thank you.
Everything will be traded in, he said, just for the folks at home.
Do you
Any other
auction it,
question?
Chief? Do you auction it, or does it go back to the?
Goes to the auction.
And then one question about the Interceptor Utilities. Are those basically Explorers?
Yes.
Okay.
That's our standard vehicle.
Okay.
Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 11, with this next item, we're asked to consider another recommendation from Police Chief Schlide. Here we are asked to consider buying a TrueNarc handheld narcotics analyzer. If approved tonight, this device will allow the officers to test the suspected narcotics without directly contacting the narcotic on most samples. You want to come up?
Yes, sir.
Okay. One of the questions from the audience is this new technology? And if it's not, have we already had one of these before?
Good evening. This is new technology. About a year and a half, 2 years ago, with the opioid epidemic, fentanyl started popping up in the opioids. Well, we start seeing police officers around the country passing out, being exposed to the fentanyl inside of the thing. So the state police and law enforcement agencies nationwide have come up with policies, and the policy is for police officers not to handle this drugs whatsoever. In the previous, what we do is we would test the stuff ourselves and then get criminal charges on the person we arrested. So what we've had to do over the last year and a half, when someone gets arrested for any type of drugs whatsoever, we basically box the stuff up immediately, and then we have to release the prisoner, and it takes anywhere from 6 months to a year before the drug results come back. What this new system that will do, we're able to test the drugs very safely, give us an answer immediately, and then hold the prisoner instead of releasing them. And then where they'll get charges a year later, we can charge them the next morning. We're going to ask them to use funds out of forfeiture to do this. So I think it's an excellent idea. It is new technology, yes.
Okay, very good. Any other questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we made a motion. Who wants to make it?
I
Ms.
will.
Wilhelm. Okay, I'm sorry.
I move to concur with the recommendation of Police Chief Robert J. Schlide and approve the purchase of a TrueNarc handheld narcotics analyzer from Thermo Scientific Portable Analytic Instruments, Inc., to include a 1-year warranty and the training of 12 officers for a total cost of $23,900 using forfeiture funds from line item 265-266-799-207.
Support.
Motion made by Ms. Wilhelm, supported by Mr. Viviano. Any questions, discussion?
Yes, I do have a question.
Mr. Vermeulen.
What is the reliability of this technology when you apply it by the officers?
It's sponsored by the different law enforcement organizations, the nationwide ones. Not sponsored, but they've sanctioned it and recommended it. So based on that, then I think it's very reliable.
Okay.
And it does come with a warranty also. So if there's any problems, we would deal with the company. Okay. And I expect no problems, sir, just so you know.
Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Ammunition, we're asked to authorize our police chief to purchase ammunition throughout the year in an amount not to exceed $30,000. The police chief uses his discretion to buy in bulk and save time and shipping costs on this purchase. And the chief indicated that the price of the ammunition never goes down, but the availability does change daily. Do I have that right?
Yes, sir.
One question from the audience. I think we had a couple. What kind of ammunition are we purchasing? I don't know if you want to give that out. You don't need to if you don't want to. And the other question was, how much did we spend last year? And I don't know if you want to give that out either.
Well, I think Mr. Churchill asked that question, or Mr. Turner. They can call my office tomorrow, and I'll have the answer for them, if that's okay. I don't know the answer, but one of the questions they had is, when was the last time we bought ammo? And it was in January of 2017, so it was 13 months ago last time we purchased ammo.
The other question was shotgun shells or bullets.
That was the other question.
That's what I mean. Yeah. What kind of ammunition?
It's everything. I may have a list here. I sent Mr. V today. I sent him a list of all the stuff, so he's been able to review it. It's every different kind of ammunition, duty ammo for all of our weapons. Duty, our long weapons and our pistols. And then our training is for our training also. So it's everything that we use.
Okay.
It's encompassed in that line. And also, there's a little uptick in price. I do know that. We hired 7 new officers. Our department is up over 18% since I was hired 3 years ago. So there is an uptick in cost. And then there's also an uptick in the cost itself. There's inflation going on. These prices have been rising drastically over the last 3 years because of the military needs for the ammo.
Chief Shalida, I noticed that when I went through the list, a lot of this stuff, Lieutenant Wiley had done a lot to save money to the taxpayers by buying practice ammunition. There's also a lot of specialty ammunition in this as well for different purposes. Part of it is to limit the danger to the surrounding public in the area, over-penetration issues, along with accessibility that they're given, and other types of ammunition and other specialty items which are absolutely critical because these operations contain very high liability. We just had an FBI agent shoot a hostage in an attempted rescue.
Yes.
And I mean, this is stuff that our officers have to be trained well on.
Mr. Vermeulen, you couldn't have said it any better. I couldn't have said it any better. Since I got hired 3 years ago, I made it a point to upgrade and improve our training. My philosophy is, and I've instilled this with all my officers, you pay now or you pay later. and we choose to pay now and not dealing with litigation and lawsuits. Since I've been the chief here 3 years, we've not paid out $1 in any litigation whatsoever, and I expect to keep it that way. We're one of the best, well-trained departments in the area, and we're going to keep it that way also. And one more thing I want to point out. I know I had a couple questions about the cost of the ammo. The cost of the ammo, we have a $15.2 million operating budget. The cost of the ammo is 1/5 of 1% of my operating budget. I mean, this is, in an overall big scheme of things, this is minutia of what we're spending to keep our officers well trained. So,
I'd like to make a motion.
Mr. Vermeulen?
To Viviano.
Viviano.
To concur with the recommendation of Police Chief Robert Schleit and approve the purchase of duty and training ammunition not to exceed $30,000.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Viviano, seconded by Mr. Grote. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Yeah, it's been a busy night for you, Chief. Now in front of us is a recommendation from you to approve the purchase of a laser scanner. The scanner allows for the measurements in 3 dimensions, therefore providing more realistic and detailed scan results. Should be used by the department while conducting reports in serious personal injury accidents and large crime scenes. Is that correct?
yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman?
I'm sorry.
Make a motion.
We'll make the motion first, and we'll let you talk.
Sure.
Go ahead, Mr. Flynn.
Move to concur with the recommendation of Chief Schleit and approve purchase of a Faro laser scanner in the amount of $49,909.98 from Faro Tech using budgeted funds in the line item 427-305-985-000 capital improvement.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Flynn, seconded by Ms. Wilhelm. And you were going to say?
Yes, sir. I just want to let you know specifically this is a portable scanner used to record architectural, I think it's facades, is that how you pronounce that? Or FACADES, complex structures, accident sites, delivering realistic and true to detail scan results. The scanner will be used for serious personal injury accidents and large crime scenes. So we have an outdated model called the Total Station that the officers have been using. It's been around for, 10, 15 years. Yeah, around 10, 15 years. So this is the cutting edge technology. It's been out for a few years. We've held off, waiting until we got our surplus where we wanted to make the purchase. We feel now is the right time where our surplus is getting, fattened up, per se.
Good, and it is. I've been keeping an eye on that, too. Good job on that.
Thank you, sir.
There was one question from the audience. Will this new piece of equipment measure skid marks?
Yeah. Certain to know.
Skid marks. Total scene, not specifically.
He's one of our
skid marks.
experts who
Okay.
uses the old, outdated system, and obviously he'll be trained on the new system. This system is used for court prosecution, is what it's used for.
Okay.
Just so you know.
I believe that covers it for the audience. Okay, great. Any questions from the audience? Are we aboard? No? Okay, then we'll go ahead and vote on it. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you
very much. And finally, not finally, but our next agenda item is the Library Advisory Committee. Our library director has noted that the Library Advisory Commission members are currently paid only $10 per meeting. These meetings generally last from 1.5 to 2 hours. The recommendation tonight is that we consider an increase to $50 per individual per monthly meeting. Current fee structure has been in place for nearly 20 years. And I will say these are all volunteers who do a big part of the library. They collect paperbacks, they resell them, and they really do get involved operationally, and they're lovers of the library, and they do a wonderful job. So anyway, if someone would like to make the motion, please.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Flynn.
Move to concur with the recommendation of Library Director and increase fees paid to the Library Advisory Commission.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Flynn, seconded by Mr. Vermeulen. Any questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have 2 appointments to the Solid Waste and Recycling Committee, Marcia Livermore and David Newland. Do you have anything further to say, Ms. Wilhelm?
No.
Okay, because I know that you are the representative from the Board of Trustees on a Solid Waste and Recycling Committee, and they are doing a fantastic job.
Right.
Thank you very much.
We're glad to keep them.
Would you like to make the motion?
Yes.
Throw the library motion in there, too. We can do both at once.
Okay. I move to reappoint Marcia Livermore and David Newland to serve as members of the Solid Waste and Recycling Committee for 2-year terms expiring September 18, 2019, and also to the Library Advisory Commission to reappoint Ronald Black to serve as a member of the Library Advisory Commission for a 5-year term with an expiration date of January 31st, 2022.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Wilhelm, seconded by Mr. Flynn. Any discussion, questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion passes, and I want to say thank you not only to these three individuals, but to all the volunteers of the many, many committees that we have here in Shelby Township. This is what makes our township what it is today. Our employees and all the, I'm going to say hundreds of volunteers. We thank them very, very much. Okay, now it's time for announcements. I'll start with you, Mr. Viviano.
One, I'd like to mention Chief Schlide. He declared a snow emergency, I think 2 times. They did. It might happen again, but it helps get the cars off the subdivision streets, which we have a lot of trouble plowing at times.
Yep.
So I wanted to mention that. Hopefully folks get their cars off the streets. The next one is Glenn Wynn is coming into our office at the road department to kind of discuss a 5-year plan for the township, what monies are available, what roads are on the mind of the township going forward. So hopefully that'll get some good plug out of.
And I just want to thank you for being a big part of getting those people out there, filling up the potholes as quickly as we could. And it seemed like about an hour or two after I called, they were out there. So I want to thank you. It's nice having you on our board. That's one of the reasons, not the only reason. But you know, it seems like we have somebody plugged in right in the road department, so we can actually get our point of view heard quickly and make sure that it gets done properly. Also, I want to say that for all you people on 23 Mile Road who have entrances onto your business, I know that those entrances are a mess. And we are going to see about putting that in a 5-year plan. Of course, 21 Mile will be repaved, most of that, but not till 2019. Thank you, Vince. Yep. And the reason not till 2019 is because the federal portion, which is the big lion's share of that money spent, is not going to be available till 2019. We're ready. The county's ready with our shares, but the federal government's not, so we'll have to wait till 2019. And then between 23 Mile and 26 Mile, that's a high priority as well. That's going to be widened and completely redone. When, we don't know, and that's what this 5-year plan's all about. But I do want to say that the county, for the most part, in Shelby Township, 100% of the time, when we want something done, if it doesn't get done, it's never because of money, because we have made it, this board has made it, and boards in the past, the last 2 boards, have made it a high priority to make sure that we have money to be ready for any opportunity that comes up to improve our road system. And we still have money in the bank right now, and if somebody calls tomorrow, another township or city, and they don't have the money for their share in their township or city, we'll gladly take that money and do it right here in Shelby Township. And that has happened a few times. And thanks to the board, we've always approved it, and we got the money rolling, and we got the roads fixed. And even though we have the best roads in Macomb County, they're not good enough. We know that. And we've got a long way to go, and we're going to keep making progress. Mr. Viviano, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And board members, thank you for making roads a very, very, very high priority here in Shelby Township. Ms. Wilhelm.
I just want to say that we had a really great turnout for electronic recycling at the end of the month. People were thrilled because we now have no more charge for that. It's a quarterly event. It went very smoothly. We had over 400 cars, I think, so that was great. And also our next one will be April 28th in conjunction with hazardous waste, so we look forward to seeing the entire community come out for that. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much, and they did a fine job once again. Yeah. Mr. Flynn?
Nothing tonight.
Nothing tonight. Mr. Vermeulen?
Yes, the Oakland Macomb Friends of the NRA on April 17th will be holding a fundraising event over at Palazzo Grand on April 17th. It will start at 6 p.m. Contact Mike Costa.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Vermeulen. Mr. Wozniak?
There's a fundraiser tomorrow night for Samaritan House up at Greystone. It's a chicken and pasta dinner. There is a donation to be made, but if you go up there, it's going to be a good meal for Samaritan House, which is a good organization. From the library, Escape from Hogwarts. The clock is ticking and there's no time burners to be found. Can you and your team make it out? Solve riddles, puzzles, and find clues to find your way out of our Harry Potter escape room. Costumes are welcome. Refreshments will be served. They're offering the program twice, once for teens and once for adults. Registration is required. The Teen Escape Room is for grades 7 to 12. That's on Friday, February 9th, from 6 to 7:30. And then the Adult Escape Room will be the following Friday, February 16th, again from 6 to 7:30. Registration is required. Secondly, the Orphan Train in Michigan. 12,500 orphans from New York City and Boston were placed with families in Michigan from 1854 to 1927. Al and David Eicher spent a year and a half in research and gathering photographs about the orphan train riders in Michigan. They produced a lecture and video documentary about the experience of being an orphan train rider and will visit the Shelby Township Library to present their fascinating research. No registration required. Wednesday, February 21st, 7 to 8:30 p.m. And lastly, Family Valentine Fund. Design Valentines for family and friends and decorate a sweet treat to enjoy yourself. That'll be this Saturday, February 10th, from 2 to 3 in the library atrium. All ages are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wozniak. And that Samaritan event's going to be great. Hopefully you can make it out. How much is a ticket? $20?
Yeah, 25, 20, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow night as well. Okay, business from the floor. It's that time. We conduct township business here consistent with the way a business meeting is handled. Here, each speaker will be allowed up to 3 minutes to discuss business that's relevant to the operation of our terrific township. Who would like to go first? Yes.
Leo Levy from Shelby Township. I was a little out of line talking earlier about Cook. This is the time to talk about him. And I think that I went up and seen him today, and I tell you, he's in real critical shape. And I think that he needs a lot of prayers from people when they go to church and have them pray for him, because no matter what religion you are or what Democrat or Republican, whoever you are, he's still a human being. I think he still would like visitors. And I think it'd be good for him because he's in real critical shape. And if anybody wants to go see him, they could see what I'm talking about. And I think he needs the help by talking to somebody. And I think he needs a lot of praying for him because he's in real critical shape.
See at Troy Beaumont?
Troy Beaumont. And his room number 4449. Okay. But you better call before you go in case they change his room number. And he's talking about going to a nursing home. Okay. So they might put him in a nursing home for rehab because they're not going to keep him in a hospital. And he needs all the help he get. And I think he's nice in his ways. And I think we got to remember the good things he's got and forget politics and treat him like a human being. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And he is in our prayers. In fact, I saw him today as well, and hopefully he'll come along and improve as we go along. So definitely in our prayers. Okay, who would like to go next? Yeah, Mr. Churchill. And then I'll take you in the back. Okay, now you can turn. Yep. Got it.
Ron Churchill, Mound Road. Mr. Supervisor, I just have one question that I want to direct to two of the new trustees. That's Mr. Viviano and Mr. Wilhelm. Mr. Vermeulen already answered this question I'm going to ask him. You two new trustees never voted on the last board. You never voted for this 3-minute deal. I just want to ask you just a simple yes or no question. Can you honestly say that 3 minutes is enough time, no matter how many agenda items there are. I just want a simple yes or no. And you can answer right now. You two are elected officials, and by law, you can answer me right now before I sit back down. This is the law. You are obligated to answer. And you can. If you answer right now, there's nothing that the supervisor or anybody else can do if you answer right now. You don't have to wait for me to sit back down.
At the end of your 3 minutes, they will.
This is from a lawyer that told me this, Pete Lucido.
I think it's enough time. I sit on 2 other boards at the state, and it's the exact amount of time we give them. It's never been an issue.
I agree, Mr. Churchill. And if you ever needed any questions
Right,
answered.
extra time, there's mitigating circumstances.
Right. If you ever needed time prior to the meetings, I'm here to answer any of your questions.
So in other words, you believe 3 minutes is plenty of time, even if there's 22 agenda items?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
let's not get in the back and forth.
That's fine.
Let's just let him sit down, and then if you
Right,
want to
I
add to
answered
that,
your
you
question.
That's all.
can. Thank you for answering.
I just wanted this
30 seconds.
on tape. This is on
I
tape now. It's
answered before.
documented. And I guarantee you, Mr. Supervisor, this is going to come back and bite you in the ass.
Okay, well, thanks for coming in. Who else wants to, yes, in the back? No, you don't want to come up tonight? Yeah, in the black jacket? Brown pants? Yep. Excuse me, is there anything more you want to add, or? did
I
cut
just
you
want to
off?
thank Mr. Churchill for asking so nicely, and, I'm happy to answer you, so we can talk about it whenever you'd like.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Good evening. Many of you have heard the supervisor tell us he was going to give back $13,000 in tainted cash from indicted contributors. That, like many other things this man says, is far from the truth. I will relay to the people what is actually going on and who is actually returning the tainted cash. The supervisor had a mid-December fundraiser netting in excess of $29,000, and I can tell you now who repaid the cash. Steve Messina, $3,788.14. He operates a trucking company doing business with the township. Can you believe a businessman would write a check ending in 14 cents? Victor Gonaj, $500, a real estate agent, connected to property rezoned next to the Catholic Church on Shaner. Stephen Sapp, $500, an insurance agent from Mount Clemens with a $500,000 yearly contract with the township, promoted by the supervisor and the clerk, Mr. Grott. Beth Case, $1,000, Grosse Point, has $1 million IT contract with the township. Ed Mancini, $3,000, has extensive real estate holdings in the township. Muhammad Quasi, $2,000 from West Bloomfield. These names and contributions are only a fraction of the cash this man picked up from 31 contributors living in 19 communities other than Shelby Township. When he tells the public again he is going to repay the indicted cash, you will know he is a lying snake and addicted to money. This last fundraiser brings the total to nearly $300,000 he has extorted or somehow collected, much of which came from people doing business with the township. It appears the supervisor's office is for sale to the highest bidder or whoever can provide the most cash. At the last meeting I attended, you stated you were thankful for the depopulation of hell. Well, sir, shame on you for using a 4-letter word in this boardroom. But further dissecting your statement, you should be thankful there will be more room for you, because there is most certainly a special place in hell for people like you who purposely mislead and lie to the public. Thank you very much.
Wow, that's a lot of anger and a lot of bitterness, and I'm only sorry that you have some pain that hopefully you'll get over one day, and I'm really sorry for you. I really am.
Mr. Chairman?
I don't, hold on one second.
Yeah.
I don't wish anything bad on you, And I think what I said, to be more exact, is that the objective of Christians is to depopulate hell. That was the quote I made. I think you're taking it slightly out of context. But before I go any further, I did make a statement, and I said that $12,800 would be paid back because my PAC did not want to be associated with any indicted people. Well, that money was actually paid back. Mr. Randazzo, you're here. Could you just please come up and let me ask you a real simple question? $12,800, I said that money would be paid back so that those memorials out there would be fully funded and there would be no more debt. Was that money paid back?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You paid it back. You paid the bills that the memorial site was accumulating through some years with the new memorials out there that we have.
And there's no more debt?
No.
Okay.
No, not right now. There's not until I start something again, maybe. But no, right now it's smooth.
Thank you very much for coming up. I do appreciate that. And again, I just want to say I'm not going to thank the people who were not indicted, but who pleaded guilty or are on their way to jail. We just don't want to be associated with those people. So I got together with my PAC. They agreed, and we raised the money. We did not want to give it back to those people. We wanted to make it go for something that was much more important and significant. And I thought, and Mr. Viviano, it was your idea too, we thought that it would be a better idea to fund those memorials, get all those bills paid, and that's what we did. So thank you to anyone in this room who might have contributed. I know, Mr. Huth, you're one of them. 300,000, I wish. I wish. But anyway, hey, I tell you what, I haven't given up on you. My hope and prayers are still with you, and I really do mean that.
And Mr. Chairman, I'm not going to stick up for you. We're all independent contractors up here. We can all defend ourselves and our political actions. But I just had a question and a point of clarification. I know this young millennial here is the same young man that ran for trustee, and despite invoking the Holocaust with a mailer involving Hitler, came in dead last of all the competing candidates. And if I'm not mistaken, this is also the same millennial that literally begged you to door knock with him and begged you for his endorsement. So my question is, were you a crook then, or were you a crook after he lost?
And the answer is C. I am not. So anyway, no, thank you. And I don't want to get into all that because I don't know what the agenda is, and I don't want to start connecting dots. All I know is that he's got a lot of pain, and he's in my prayers, and I hope that pain goes away someday. And I hope it's in my lifetime. When it'll be, I don't know. You're in my prayers, and I really do have hope for you. Anyone else tonight? Yes, sir.
Thomas Turner, Shelby Township. Maybe some of your board members should pay attention to some of these figures I'm going to quote out here. And the bill runs for January. We have tuitions for township employees that totaled over $8,763. None of these people that get these tuitions paid in full put nothing in for their own advancement or for their own education. We pay it all. And then in memberships, just for 1 month, there's $550 for memberships, and all these memberships throughout the year that every department belongs to is nothing more than a free lunch trip out of town. A conference or a work session or a meeting, they're all free lunches. And we pay for the free lunch, and we pay for the out-of-town expenses. In the tuition department again, oh, and one more thing. In the bill runs for the month of January, there was the police addition engineering cost, $37,800. Now, how much was the original police addition engineering cost? Whatever that was, we add another $37,800 to. Well, how come you can't get closer to what this addition is going to cost when we have to continue to pay month after month after month a little bit more here and there? Now, you talk to the audience here and over the microphone that you're building a real moderate building. how moderate is moderate when you have continually engineering expenses throughout the months. In these tuition expenses, there is, for each one of these people, one is $2,856 paid in full, the whole amount. The other one here in senior citizens, Amy Drake, another $1,077. In the fire department, Franklin Pierce, $1,737. In the water and sewer department, Danielle Allen, $2,291.50. Don't you people look at these bill runs and don't you question these figures?
Time's
what
up,
do
sir.
we elected you
Time's
for
up.
when they don't do what they're
Time's up,
elected
sir.
to do?
Sir, time's up. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to respond to that.
Okay, I'll let him be seated and you can respond. Thank you.
Got a bunch of ninnies on the board.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Vermeulen.
Mr. Turner, Mr. Turner?
Sure, he listens.
You can't hear you.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make you aware, you know, this is not a practice that's confined to Shelby Township alone for paying for people's association and seminars, membership in organizations, or investing in employees through tuition. It's done throughout corporate America, and the corporations have found that it works because it improves the quality of employee. It enables them to get the best practices.
Hogwash.
You're out of, that's your first warning.
Never mind, I'm leaving.
Okay. Please leave. I'm sorry, Mr. Vermeulen, if you could just wait for him to leave.
You new trustees got the backbone of a worm.
Excuse me, that's enough.
No guts. No
Out,
gridlock.
out. I want you out right now, please. Out. Thank you. To the people at home, I sincerely do apologize for that outburst. We're doing the best we can. And, sir, I want you out. Thank you. I do apologize for that outburst, and now we will continue. And Mr. Vermeulen, go ahead and continue with your remarks.
I don't find investing in our employees so they can do a better job, get educated in the best practices, learn their jobs maybe a different way so the public can benefit. This is done throughout corporate America. And I don't like this constant bashing of our board for approving these expenses, which are normal within corporate America and have been found to be beneficial to the corporations.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, not only that, but these are also contractual agreements that we have to live up to. And the rest of it is formality here, so.
It's within the bargaining contract.
That's right.
Yes. And the only thing I would
Same
like
as
to
the
add
county.
is what
It's in the
Ms.
bargaining
Wilhelm
agreement.
has already stated, and that is if you really have some questions and you want to know the detail, come to us before the board meeting, come to us after the board meeting, give us a call, whatever, or if you want us to meet you over a cup of coffee or just come to our office, whatever you want to do, we're here for you, any one of us, okay? Who wants to go next? Yes. How you doing, sir?
You bet today. Good evening, everybody. Well, these items that were just brought up, I mean, we're getting used to them, I think. So, you know, I'll just pass it on. Anyways, I'm glad the War Memorial was brought up because I know around every November in the meeting hall downstairs, that's where the residents get a chance to come and decide on the priorities for the following year, which would have been this year. I didn't get a chance to be there. I would have mentioned about the about voting for the War Memorial to be one of the priorities. But we have a lovely War Memorial out there. There's been some issues, but it was taken care of. and I want to keep that memorial alive, and that's why I was. Some of us were looking at maybe a committee, a veterans committee, so that we could continue keeping that alive. It'd be all volunteer people. Nobody, I mean, none of us are going to get paid or anything like that. And because it's very important to us that those brave soldiers, not just men but women that have died too in the service of our country, are always remembered. They gave the ultimate sacrifice to be killed in combat at such a young age, and for us to enjoy what we have today, the freedoms that we have thanks to their sacrifice. It's something that Shelby Township and everywhere should be very proud of their war memorials, and like I say, we need to keep them alive and keep the spirit going, especially in today's world with all the problems going on all around.
30 seconds.
World. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, and I want to thank many people like you, and especially the leadership, which right now happens to be Mr. Phil Randazzo, for the great job that he does in making sure that's maintained. And I want to say the funding so far has been, if not all, almost all private funding. Except maybe for a few dollars, but I think it's all private funding up to this point. So we're very proud of that too. Obviously, you know, I don't know how it'll be in the future, but I know there's a lot of passion from a lot of people in Shelby Township to make sure that that is properly maintained. And to you, Mr. Randazzo, and to all of you vets who are in here helping, keeping the memorial in the shape it's in right now, we say thank you. Okay? Anyone else tonight? Yes.
Gary Galassa, Shelby Township. Mr. Flynn, I didn't run for anything in case you want to bring up anything about the elections. And sir, I don't care for you to analyze me in any way, shape, or form because you do not have the letters after your name to do so.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said, you must have a trouble today because you're making a lot of mistakes up there. You guys been out partying before you came here to sit down on the board today, sir?
I wish.
Yeah, you wish.
But I didn't hear what you said. Can you repeat that, please?
If you're going to analyze me, show me some letters after your name that gives you the ability to do that, or anyone else that comes up here. The last meeting we listened to the presentation, Mr. Huth, do I start now with my time?
You're on the clock, sir.
The last meeting we listened to the presentation of the Shelby citizen from the southwest quadrant of the city. He spoke about the blighted building on the southeast corner of Auburn and Ryan, as well as the general condition of the Auburn quarter all the way to DeQuinder. 4 years ago, I spoke about the blighted properties throughout Shelby. An alleged study was to be done by the esteemed duo of Flynn and Filer to search out blighted areas to concentrate on. They were ineffective in solving any of the issues. Your own study, commissioned and paid for by the township, found that Shelby had no development problem, but it did have a blight problem. Little has been done except for maybe 5 buildings, which have been raised in the last 4 years of your tenure, relatively unaffected as many can see. You've developed new properties in the north end of the township where developers can contribute to your election campaign for favors. You've spoken about visiting the Hickson Road area personally to view what can be done there and aid the blighted section of the township. Nothing has been done or even spoken about because why? Not enough campaign contributors? Now you've exposed that part of our community, to the fact that they no longer have a grocery store to shop with the closing of the Hollywood Market. Residents need to travel to Meyer in Rochester Hills for a grocery store. Throw up some more useless bushes and trees. Why not declare it a tax abated zone? You declared other areas that way. Want less for something, tax it. You want more for something, subsidize it. Mr. Wynn seems to be as happy as a pig in a dung heap with the removal of the old Manicotti building. Think how ecstatic he might be with a tax abated zone for development. Maybe you can get some more campaign contributors if you adjusted the planning in that area. And what about the roads, particularly Ryan, bomb-strafed Ryan? Truck traffic today abounds, similar to what was existed here in 1992, when I moved here, long before most of you people on the board. The destination for that traffic was a Ford Utica trim. Same location as Amazon. Can you pay attention, sir? In the 90s, the township lobbied to prevent the post office from building a major distribution center on 23 mile west of Van Dyke. Why? Because of the traffic. So you, sir, gloat about the improvements to Mound Road by Amazon. I say, so what? Take the brunt. The 23 mile and Ryan will take the brunt of the 120 to 200 trucks Amazon will be adding to the local traffic daily. To the millionaire developers of the township, you are a godsend and they're shill. To the people of the township, you are a bust. And if you are so holy that you won't do business with people who have been indicted, then why do you continue to do business with the township with Fossil Khan?
Okay. First of all, these are the people who are going to jail or who have admitted guilt. So being indicted, can you explain what that means?
Means that the government has brought charges, and in a statement of referring to one of the people from the speaker, the government statement says that it's not evidence of any wrongdoing and that there's just a continuing proceeding with him.
So it's not people who have been indicted, it's those people who have admitted guilt or are going to jail. We just don't want to be associated with them, as simple as that. Who wants to go next? Anybody else? Oh, you in the back, yeah. I think that's about it for tonight. I think we got everybody. Okay.
Several meetings ago, this board was in a jubilant mood. Rob had checked the deal, had made sure everything was good. Everybody was happy with what was going to happen. They inked the deal, and Dick, you even requested that they make sure there was no fracking involved. And an oil company was given leases here to drill oil in Shelby Township. And the ink hadn't even dried on that agreement when the joyful shouts turned to shouts of anger. And because the oil derrick that the township had approved to put in other people's backyards suddenly found itself in Rob's backyard. And these people went to the very extent of demanding state laws to prevent them from doing what they had just done to the very oil company that they had signed an agreement to. That's how two-faced you are, this board. Just like when how Doug and Mikey decided they were going to improve our free speech. 3 minutes to request anything you want to say about all the agenda items before they're even presented. How is that a logical choice of freedom to anybody but you, 8. I have to include you. You know, it's like I'm in a fairy tale. Instead of Snow White, I've got Dirty Dick. And there's 7 evil minions. I used to think some of you had gold teeth. Then I realized that you're just puppets, and that was a ring on Dick's finger. You guys really seldom come up with any individual thoughts. But you guys sure feed on what Dick the Master calls for. I mean, you guys just refuse to accept what the citizens say. Would you have allowed a rezoning of your neighborhood if you knew a gas station was going to be there, like the 60 residents who came here and asked you not to do that? Would you have forced thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest on people after you voted to put that to them?
30 seconds.
Or as Michael, I like that. I have a personal policy that prevents you from giving people a low-interest loan after you burden them the way you did. And you call yourself citizens protectors, citizens employees. Or are you guys just a bunch of lottery winners thinking that this is the best way you can get money without having to put out a lot of effort?
Okay, thanks for coming in. Anybody else tonight? I think that'll do it, but we do have behind closed doors an item to discuss. Is that correct?
And I don't. Would you mind, Mr. Supervisor, if I suggested a motion on this next item?
Go ahead.
Okay. To enter in closed session to discuss the possible sale of property pertaining to the Cherry Creek Golf Course.
So moved as described by Township Attorney.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Flynn and seconded by Mr. Wozniak. All those in favor of this motion,
Roll call,
please.
please, I'm
Roll
sorry.
call, okay. Go ahead.
Who made a motion? Michael Flynn?
Yeah, Wozniak seconded.
Michael Flynn.
Yes.
Doug Wozniak.
Yes.
Stan Grote, yes. Rick Steffikis.
Yes.
John Vermeulen.
Yes.
Vince Viviano.
Yes.
Lynn Wilhelm.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you, everybody, for coming in tonight. We do appreciate it, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks.